Good morning, America. Thank you so much for starting your day here with us. I'm Vanessa Broussard. Every year in August, Congress goes on a 1-month-long recess. But this year, that could get put on hold. Congress could delay its August recess as Republican leaders push to advance the Save America Act. Supporters say the legislation is a top priority, and they say lawmakers should remain in Washington until that bill is passed. Well, it all started when Scott Pressler posted that one brave senator should force a roll call vote for Congress to stay in Washington. Senator Mike Lee of Utah responded with, "I'll do it." Then moments later, Senator Rick Scott of Florida posted this, "I stand with Mike Lee. I will vote to stay in session unless we have passed the Save America Act. The American people expect us to deliver. They deserve secure elections." I'm also told Senator Jim Banks of Indiana is the third senator to publicly stand with a roll call vote, and another one is coming forth this morning. So this week could get very interesting on the Hill. President Trump also posting this weekend. The all-Republican senators terminate the filibuster, which the Democrats will do as soon as they get the chance, and pass the Save America Act. And everything else, including the budget and upcoming debt ceiling. Do it now, he says, before it's too late. Signed off, President DJT. Now, as you know, the House has passed the Save America Act. We're just waiting on the Senate, and we will soon find out if they'll get key legislation passed before they go on their month-long vacation. Allison Steinberg, she's on the Hill, tracking down Congress yet again this morning. Here she is with Democrat Congressman Thanador. Watch.
Hi, Congressman.
Hey.
How are you?
Good.
Good. Just curious to get your thoughts on this latest development in New Jersey, where the governor has revealed that there are thousands of aliens actually registered to vote in the state, and 400 of them actually did vote. Democrats have long said illegals never vote in American elections. Obviously, that's not true. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, only American citizens should vote in elections. And if there is a problem with registration, whether it is a software glitch or whatever that is, that needs to be fixed. But no, only citizens should vote. Anyone that is a non-citizen must not be able to vote in our elections.
But they did. So what should happen now? I mean,
Well,
we've
that
always
needs to
heard
be- it
that
needs- it needs to-
2020 was the most secure election of all time. I mean, can we trust that now? Should the American people really trust that?
Look, we need to investigate if that is what happened, and that needs to be resolved. But it should never happen.
And wouldn't this be the perfect argument to get the Save America Act passed? I mean, Save America Act, if it were implemented, it would have stopped all of this from happening. Does that change your stance at all?
Well, no, this is an isolated incident. It was, I want to know what went wrong. That needs to be fixed. But Save Act is not the answer.
Why is it not the answer?
Because it suppresses voting by minorities. It suppresses voting by women. It makes it harder for people of low means, poor people, to get the documentation that they need. So every American citizen should feel free to vote and be able to vote without restrictions.
But I mean, the average American has documentation. They have ID, proof of citizenship. It's not that hard to get. I mean, these are standard documents most people have. So is it really suppressing?
Well, look, a passport costs $160. And most Americans with this affordability crisis don't have $160 sitting around to pay for a passport. Some people don't have their birth certificate. Some women have changed their names after getting married. And it makes it all harder. And I think we have a system that works. Yes, it's not perfect. There are some instances of failure and errors, and those all need to be fixed.
So is that why you voted against the Stop Insider Trading stock ban?
That was not just it was a very complicated bill. It had much more things. I'm against inside trading, but that bill was not about that alone. Thanks.
Thank you, Congressman.
Well, he says that it was just an isolated incident there in New Jersey. Well, Congressman Randy Fine, he's pointing the finger at the Senate, saying the House is doing its job on President Trump's policies. The Senate, he says, not so much.
Hi, Congressman. Any parting words before you leave on this August recess for what you'd like to see get done in the Senate?
Well, I'd like them to pass all of the things that we passed. It'd be great to see them get Save America done, the reconciliation, the continuing resolution. I mean, we gave them a lot to work with this week, and I hope that they'll pass it while we're gone.
Many Americans feel like the president's agenda is not getting done. I know you guys have been working hard
Well,
in the
it's getting
House.
done in the House.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no question of that. I understand there's frustration. I think what people are most frustrated about is they want to see them try.
Yeah.
I think that's the greatest thing. I mean, look, if you put it up and it fails on the floor, then it fails. But
Right.
put people on the board, make them go and do the work. What I say about the Save America Act is in the 1960s, the Senate stayed in session for over 60 days to make sure that every American could vote.
Yeah.
It's worth 60 days to make sure that only Americans can vote. And I don't know why that's such a problem for
Yeah, it's
them.
unfortunate the Senate doesn't seem to agree with that stance. What do you think the path forward is for the Save America Act? I know you guys attached it to the Stop Insider Trading Act, and it's also in the reconciliation bill.
I
How
think
do you?
the reconciliation bill is the best path.
Okay.
Because that's 50 plus 1
Yeah.
to pass, and hopefully they'll take that up. I mean, it funds our military, it funds our farmers,
Yeah.
and it makes sure that illegals can't vote. So hopefully that'll pass. But I don't know. I mean, all I can do is what I can do in the House, and I'll continue to do what I have done, which is vote against any Senate bill that comes over until they pass the Save America Act. I made that promise like 6 months ago,
Yeah.
and I keep my word.
And there was lots of contention in the NDAA about this Israel merger. What ended up happening there briefly, and
Well, there is no Israel merger. I mean, I don't see any issue with us cooperating with our best ally, the only ally that we know when we go into battle, they're willing to fight alongside us. In this most recent issue with Iran, some of our so-called allies in Europe wouldn't even let us use our bases that are in their countries that we pay for in order to do it. So with allies like that, who needs enemies? But Israel's the one group that we can always count on, and it passed, and so I don't think it was, in the end, that big of a deal. You hear a lot of nonsense from the Jew haters out there, and that would be one of those great examples of that.
Were you surprised to see there were 7 Republicans that voted against it? I think it was Broussard.
But they may have voted against it for other reasons.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know why. I mean, I know why Massey voted against it. He's a Jew hater, but I don't know why the others did. I haven't had a chance to ask them. So it passed, and that's what's important.
All right, so on to the Senate. All right, Congressman,
All right.
thank you very much.
No
Have a
problem.
good recess.
Well, August is coming. Will Congress stay in session to get the Save America Act passed? Again, we should know more soon. There is a showdown today in Washington, and we are just 99 days away from the November midterms. We're now in the double digits. The left is coming for us. Communism is coming for us. We can't sit back and not vote.
We saw it coming.
2 in 3 Democrats have a favorable view of socialism.
For 250 years, America has stood for freedom against socialism,
Tear down this wall.
against communism. But now, the enemy isn't just at the gate, they're in the house.
Last night, 9 out of 10 Democratic primaries here in New York City were won by socialists.
Our goal is communism.
Progressives are on the march.
And they're coming for you.
Among the positions that these candidates have advocated for, ending prisons, ending police, no borders.
We don't back down. We take them to the mud and choke them out.
They're coming for your family's future.
I think we need a progressive taxation rate in place.
After you and Biden got here, all the Alaska projects were shut down.
They're coming for your safety.
Governor Cooper's administration saying that they'll fast track the early release of 3,500 prisoners.
I don't hear a lot about immigration from voters.
And they're coming for our Constitution.
Does that mean impeachment?
As I've said, I think that his misconduct has already exceeded the standard.
On November 3rd, failure is not an option. Your family, your safety, your freedom, everything is on the line. But President Trump and Senate Republicans have the watch.
We will never let the United States become a communist country.
The United States Senate will not fall. We will win. We will hold the line.
Hold the line, America. We only have 99 days. Time to secure our elections and save this country. In other news, this morning, former special counsel Jack Smith is facing new scrutiny after House Judiciary Chairman Jim Jordan referred him to the Justice Department for criminal prosecution, alleging Jack Smith made false statements to Congress about his handling of evidence in the Trump investigations. Smith's attorneys denied the allegations. No word yet from the Justice Department. A new report reveals that the Israeli military now controls over 60% of the Gaza Strip. David Rubin with Shiloh Israel Children's Fund is with us this morning. David, good to have you on the show. How is Israel making sure Hamas can't reclaim the Gaza Strip?
Well, Israel has control of, it's actually more than 60%, well more than 60% at this point. Look, President Trump established this Board of Peace, which is kind of like appointing the mice to guard the cheese. They can't really be trusted. Countries like Qatar and Pakistan, Egypt and other Arab countries, other Muslim countries, many of whom don't even have peace with Israel. Somehow they're supposed to be mediators. The whole thing is very bizarre, and frankly, I think that Israel knows how to control Gaza and keep the peace there. We just have to be given free rein to do so. So now we have something like 65% of Gaza in our hands. The Hamas terrorist organization is working very hard to reestablish their control of Gaza, and they're sending snipers our way and trying to launch terrorist attacks against the Israeli soldiers that are in control in the majority of Gaza, and they're intimidating whatever local population there is. So Israel knows what needs to be done, and basically what needs to be done, the lessons of October 7th are that we need to be controlling more of Gaza. That we really should be in control of all of Gaza, and the hostile Muslim population that's trying to kill us, and that tried to kill us on October 7th and only partially succeeded. They could go to one of the other 10 or 15 other Muslim countries in the region, and they have a lot more room to absorb them than we do.
Let's talk about those communities along the Strip, the threats of invasions for the people there. What's life like for them on an everyday basis?
Well, right now it's a lot better than it was, for sure. There is no infiltration from Gaza now because the Israeli army is there. That's what it all comes down to. If we're in a place, then we're not going to have problems with infiltration. If we're not there, if we give them autonomy, then they're going to take the first opportunity that they have to take over. They've done that in Lebanon. They've done that from Syria. They've done it in Judea and Samaria, the so-called West Bank, and they've done it in Jerusalem and other Israeli cities. Once you give them a foothold, then they're going to try and take the whole thing. So we need to be vigilant. We need to be on our guard, and we have, many of us, shall I say, a majority of Israelis have learned the lessons from October 7th, when they invaded, they murdered, they slaughtered, they raped innocent civilians, and that's something that's just intolerable. We can't accept that anymore.
Absolutely. How can the IDF proceed in claiming even more of the Gaza Strip? What's Netanyahu looking to do?
Well, look, again, there is this supposed peace deal, ceasefire in Gaza. And because so much of the focus has been on Iran and has been on Lebanon, and has recently been in Samaria, where there have been several terrorist attacks carried out by the Palestinian Authority, their Fatah organization. So the attention is focused elsewhere. So in Gaza, really, we, officially, according to the ceasefire, we're supposed to have over 50% of the Gaza Strip in this temporary arrangement. Hamas has been refusing to disarm. And by the way, in Lebanon, the Hezbollah terrorists have been refusing to disarm. So when they're refusing to disarm, we can't give up anything. We can't have concessions. You can't have concessions until the other side proves that they're really willing to have peace. So, there's no peace with Hamas. There's no peace with Hezbollah. There's no peace with Iran. And I think we have to stop playing this silly game of saying that there's going to be peace because hostile countries like Qatar and Pakistan say that there's going to be peace. It's nonsense. They're speaking out of two sides of their mouth. And I call on President Trump really to be vigilant, to be aware that there's a lot of lying going on out there. And really, he needs to be standing with Israel. And we stand with America 100%. And, we're great partners, as you saw in the beginning of the Iran war, when we worked together without any outside interference. So that's what we need to be doing now.
I'm glad you mentioned Iran because I was thinking that when you were talking about Hamas, how hard it is to make a peace deal with terrorists. I mean, that's almost impossible because a terrorist is going to be a terrorist and a communist is going to be a communist. And, these evil people are hard to reckon with. And the same thing's going on with Iran right now. Back to the Gaza Strip, though, David, do you think that Israel will ever completely reclaim it?
Yes.
Okay.
The short answer is yes. The short answer is yes. We will completely reclaim it, and it will be 100% in our hands, and there will be Jewish communities there once again. The ones that were forced to leave will be reestablished. I have absolutely no doubt about that. It's all a question of timing, and the timing is that it's contingent on the first step, which is to have security and to know that it's going to be safe. So that's what we're working on right now.
What can Americans learn from this? We've watched what happened after October 7th, what's going on at the Gaza Strip. We see what's going on with Iran right now. What can America learn from what's happening in Israel's fight with Hamas?
Well, that's great. That's a great question. And, as you probably know, my most recent book is called Confronting Radicals, What America Can Learn from Israel. So it is very appropriate. And what can be learned? I think you have to go back to Vietnam to understand what can be learned, what needs to be learned, which is that if you're fighting a war and you're fighting against an enemy, then you have to go ahead and do what needs to be done. You have to complete the job. You cannot win a war by pussyfooting around and saying, okay, we're gonna hit them so hard until they negotiate. No, you don't want them to negotiate. You want to go in and do what the Allies did in World War II, which was the last war that the United States won, and you defeat the enemy. You defeat the enemy. You bomb the enemy into submission until those white flags go up, the flag of surrender. And once that happens, then you dictate the terms of the peace, which is what the United States did in Europe along with the other allies. And that's how you create a peaceful situation. First, you win the war, victory at all costs, and then dictate the terms of the peace. And then the peace will hold. And that's what happened in Europe after World War II. The peace held until they started allowing in illegal immigrants from the Muslim countries, and they started destroying Western Europe, which is what's happening now in Western Europe. But that's a warning sign for the United States, by the way. The United States should be very, very careful about who it lets in, and only bring in immigrants who are going to work hard, who are family-based, who are respectful of American Judeo-Christian heritage, and stand with that and be firm on that. And that's one very good way to save America. I mean, I heard talking about the Save America Act in the news, but this is another way to save America, which is to be careful about who you let into your country.
Absolutely. And we're trying very hard to make sure that our borders stay closed. We're trying to get a handle on who comes in, making sure we know who they are and where they are at all times. As you know, David, that wasn't the case during the Biden administration. Millions were let in, and that's very scary to our country.
Absolutely.
You mentioned your book. I want to direct everyone to your website, davidrubinisrael.com. davidrubinisrael.com. His books are there. I encourage everyone to go pick up a copy. Great reads there. I also want to talk about a movie, Confronting Radicals. What can you tell me about that?
Well, it's a film, a video that was created based on the book, Confronting Radicals: What America Can Learn from Israel. And there you have the collusion, that horrible collusion which you're seeing so much in America these days, of the far left together with the Muslim radicals, where you have many of the Muslim radicals, like that guy Abdul, I forgot his last name, in Michigan, or Mamdani, in the mayor of New York. You have this collusion of the far left with Muslim radicals, and we've seen that for many years. Actually, for more than a decade now, in the United States and in Europe. But what you're seeing in the past couple of years is Muslim radicals who enter politics, who are actually socialists as well. So you have the combination, that far left collusion, that communism, which they call socialism, together with the radical Islam, and you see it together in individual politicians like Ilhan Omar and Mamdani, and this is very, very dangerous. It's an attempt to take over America, to destroy Judeo-Christian civilization, and to replace it. What they'll replace it with after will be very interesting, if they get to that point, God forbid. But you're talking about communists and Muslim radicals working together, and that's something that that the right side of the political spectrum, and indeed everyone in the center of the political spectrum, should be very aware of and very vigilant about.
Right. You're 100% right. And that's Abdul El-Sayed, who is the U.S. Senate candidate in Michigan. Again, like you mentioned, you have Ilhan Omar, you have Mamdani, and people need to wake up that they're trying to radicalize our country and bring in their beliefs and get rid of Christianity here in America. We all believe that. When it comes to back to the film off your books, I want to show people the trailer for this film. Let's play that right now and then get your reaction on the other side.
What had become known as the George Floyd riots in America, there was something going on that struck me as being particularly analogous to what we in Israel have been through.
Modernism, liberalism, actually open the gate to all kinds of ideas by click with your finger. You can come and read and being impressed by them.
You can't tear down America for the goal of more democracy and freedom if you're trying to destroy what makes it a good nation and a constitutional republic.
They claim to fight us in the name of all kinds of values that we uphold, when actually what they're doing is rejecting all of those values and rejecting our right to uphold them.
They're not fighting for freedom. They're not fighting against racism, but in fact for racism.
Burning, looting.
We've become a nation who has forgotten God.
I think that Israel offers a number of answers to the West.
What a great trailer. I encourage everyone to go to confrontingradicals.com. There you can learn more and watch more. Very educational. And this is the truth. What's really happening there in Israel, how it affects America. David, we only have about 1 minute left. I do want to get to the Children's Fund, the other website, israelchildren.org. Tell us about that initiative of yours, how you're helping the children of Israel who have endured the trauma of this war going on.
Well, 20 years ago, over 20 years ago, I was wounded in a terror attack. And I experienced the trauma. I was wounded. My 3-year-old son was shot in the head. And as a result of that, well, thank God he survived physically. And we saw the trauma in my then 3-year-old son and in so many other children. I said, we have to do something about healing the trauma of the terror victim children. And that's when I decided to start the Shiloh Israel Children's Fund for the purpose of healing the trauma of terror victim children. So we use music therapy and art therapy and horticulture therapy and equine therapy using horses and small animals. We're really having a tremendous impact with thousands of children whose trauma is being healed, and they're learning to contend with whatever remnants of the trauma still exist. And so I encourage your viewers to go to israelchildren.org. Just have it straight there, 3 words, israelchildren.org, and you can find out more and you can partner with us. And every bit of help is certainly appreciated. And obviously the blessings go out to you for that contribution to Shiloh Israel Children's Fund.
David Rubin, God bless you for helping the children. I know you do a lot of great work, so do the people who help you out, and also for all you do across the country in Israel as well. It was an honor to have you back on the show today. Thanks so much for updating us and stopping by.
Thank you, Vanessa.
Now to the story of Shen Yun. We've talked about it here in the past on this show. That's the Chinese Communist Party that's threatening entertainers working in America. Shen Yun is known for its large-scale production of classical Chinese dance, and the CCP strongly opposes the show. Kara Castronova is standing by with Representative Marlon Stutzman after a movie preview of Unbroken, the untold story of Shen Yun.
First of all, watching the documentary and just hearing the story of Shen Yun and as they tell the story of the CCP, still trying to go after those who are living in freedom, living in America. I kind of describe it as an abuser going after their victim. Instead of just leaving the victim alone, let them go and live their life. The abuser can't let them because they're going to tell the story of what's really happening. And Shen Yun does a beautiful job of telling the story, the history of the real China, pre CCP. And I just believe that, the human spirit is an incredible creation. And when there's freedom for us as human beings, the possibilities are limitless. And so when people have freedom, great things happen. When you have communism, when you have dictatorships, when people are oppressed, there's limitations. And those people, I think we all naturally want freedom, but there's so many people around the world that don't have that opportunity. And we in America need to be that light and standing up for those who are oppressed.
And having the screening here in America, what do you think this should inspire? What action do you think this should inspire with We the People for the government action against communism?
Well, first of all, I hope that it's educational and that people really realize that here in America, while we have our challenges, we are the freest nation. We're the wealthiest nation. We have more opportunity. I mean, I'm a farm boy that grew up in northern Indiana and became a member of Congress. And what we need to take away from this is that we don't want communism in America. We want freedom. We want our constitutional republic. We want our democratic process. We want the voice of the people to be heard. And instead of seeing, just like we see in China with communism and what it's done to China. Of course, you look at Russia and the old USSR and the oppression that it left on so many people. It's just not a winning formula. And why anybody would say that socialism, communism, Marxism is a good idea, show us where it's been successful. It's only successful for a few people. America's the richest nation in the world ever, only because of the American people.
Do you think there's a communist takeover within our own government?
I think there are people that want to see communism rule in America. This isn't new. I mean, Ronald Reagan fought this back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And ultimately, Ronald Reagan was the great president that defeated communism in so many different ways, especially with the USSR and the Berlin Wall. But we tend to repeat history if we don't know history and fight against those evil forces that would like to take us back to, the times that we've seen already fail. So that's why Unbroken, a documentary like this, is so important for the American people. And what Shen Yun has done on 700 performances around the world to show that the human spirit, we all as human beings are better when we have freedom rather than oppression.
Thank you. And where will people be able to watch this film?
So I know, my wife and I, we watched it on Prime. We paid for it because we wanted to support the project. And I think it's something that all Americans should watch and realize the history of the Chinese people. And of course, the country of China, in spite of where it's at today, America should be there to help those who want freedom in China and defeat communism.
Thank you so much, Congressman. Appreciate it.
All right, that was our photojournalist, Dylan Roth, there interviewing the congressman. You can also watch the movie at unbrokenshenyunmovie.com. The movie follows Shenyun performers and the efforts of the Chinese government to interfere with its performances. It's a good watch. Make sure you go and watch it, you and your friends. It's very educational. All right, now to a fun Friday night, which was had by not all, but some. The White House Correspondents' Dinner in Washington, D.C. It was rescheduled to this past weekend due to the assassination attempt during the first one. President Trump was the guest speaker. He roasted some in the crowd, some in his own administration, and some political names. Some people laughed, some people didn't, but it was all in good fun for most of us. Others got their feelings hurt. But anyways, let's take a look. Let's start with Ilhan Omar. Watch.
Between California's policies of enabling wildfires, paying drug addicts to be homeless, giving free sex changes to illegals, and telling rich people they're going to take away, all of your money is going to be taken away. People are fleeing, and they're fleeing in droves. We can't have that in this country. It's becoming such a horrible and dangerous location that Ilhan Omar, one of my favorites, and her brother are thinking about moving together, very much in love. The video has surfaced recently of Ilhan giving a speech referring to World War II as World War XI. And they asked her about that. She still thought she got it right. But I'm not surprised because she's a low IQ person. And she's also a very dishonest person. And she ought to get the hell out of our country. She shouldn't be here. She shouldn't be in our country. She also calls her brother husband number one. Omar is reportedly being investigated for fraud. She revised her net worth. I was shocked to see that she was worth much more than $30 million. And then when the press got on her, she revised it slightly downward to less than 18,000. So she went from much more than 30 million to 18,000.
World War XI. Remember that one? Never gets old. I think the joke that took off the most was his dig at CNN's Caitlin Collins. The two have butted heads often in the past, so she was the perfect target that night.
But I want to personally congratulate CNN's Caitlin Collins on receiving her award. It was all about me. It's a fake. She shouldn't get the award. It was a fake, but I didn't mind. I said, Caitlin, congratulations. But it was fake. There's no question about it. But she's a young, attractive woman. She never smiles. I said, Caitlin, do you have a smile? Smile. You have a nice position. You're at CNN Fake News. You should be a happy person. So smile, Caitlin. Just smile. But we attack, and I thought Caitlin had really made it big with a major new sponsorship. But then I informed her that it wasn't her on the Bud Light can. It was Dylan Mulvaney. And Dylan Mulvaney cost Bud Light $35 billion in market cap. That was the worst commercial ever made, by the way, for those few people that want to hear that. Most people don't care, but I would. I wouldn't want to hire Dylan anytime soon.
How can you not laugh? It's all in good fun, right? I thought the night was great. The president said he did hold back, but some critics still had to find fault, as they always do with the president. So that's our question of the day. Tell us what you think on social media. There's my thoughts on the dinner on Friday night on X. You can tell me in the comments. A lot of people are chiming in. What did you think about the president's speech on Friday night? We'll read some of your comments later in the show. And we've had 10 years of President Trump. This month marks a milestone. We'll tell you more when we come back. But first, we have an important message from Mike Lindell.
Hello, everyone. Well, first of all, I want to thank President Trump for his continued and unwavering support of my campaign for governor of Minnesota. But I'm here to set the record straight on the recent attacks on my position on illegal immigration. First and foremost, I'm not for amnesty. I've never been for amnesty, and I never will be for amnesty. If I said something out of context that led some people misconstruing my position, it's because I'm not a politician, I'm a businessman. The current situation in Minnesota is one of the worst in the nation, and it was created by our current politicians, including some of the very politicians that are running against me and opposing me in this primary for governor. And they're using their friends in the media to obscure my position on this issue. Well, let me state unequivocally that as governor, I will cooperate with this administration and ICE to remove illegal immigrants. On day one as governor, I would turn over approximately 1,400 illegals that are currently residing in our prison system, costing Minnesotans over $110 million a year. I will also greenlight law enforcement to turn over to ICE illegals that are arrested rather than cutting them loose like our governor's done. I will also make it a jailable criminal offense for employers to pay illegals under the table. This problem is costing Minnesota about $1.5 billion a year in revenue, and more importantly, it's costing our legal citizens jobs across Minnesota. Lastly, I want to explain why I did propose the 6-month fingerprint program. The state of Minnesota currently issues ID cards to illegals residing in our state, but we don't have them in the system. This policy was intended to assure that we would know who they were and have their prints in the system so they couldn't vote and they couldn't drive on our roads. But this was just an idea given the dire situation we're in Minnesota. but it can't be done alone at the state level. Only the federal government could make that happen. I hope I've addressed some of these questions and concerns on this issue, and I'm grateful to do it. But now I have to get back to the hard work that we've been putting in over the last 6 months to prepare a budget to restore fiscal sanity and affordability to Minnesota. It is important to me that it's released by August 11th so voters know that I understand that this is the most critical midterm election in Minnesota's history, probably the most critical election ever in Minnesota. In recent years, thousands of people and businesses have left more than have moved into our state, and this may be the last chance to make Minnesota affordable again. Thank you, and God bless you all. You know, most people think water's just about filtration, but in reality, it's about balance. What gets removed, what gets left behind, and how the water actually behaves once you drink it. Well, many traditional systems focus on one thing, removal. Reverse osmosis, for example, strips water down completely. It may sound ideal, but it removes minerals that our bodies need. The Century Wellness System was designed with a different philosophy. It removes common contaminants like chlorine, fluoride, and PFAS while restoring key minerals like magnesium and improving alkalinity. It also does all this without tanks and without wastewater, and without requiring a complicated installation. It installs in about 15 minutes under your sink, so instead of overcorrecting, it brings your water back into balance. Please visit CenturyH2O.com and use promo code Lindell for 10% off your next purchase.
Talk is cheap when it comes to saving our country. We're not just any cell phone service provider. We're Patriot Mobile. It's not enough to simply talk about values. We live them. Defending life, protecting our First and Second Amendments, and celebrating our military and first responder heroes. We're boots on the ground making a difference. We're America's only Christian conservative wireless provider with nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks and 100% U.S.-based customer service. Join Patriot Mobile today and make an impact every time you use your cell phone.
America's founders warned that without knowledge and virtue, no nation can remain free. Yet through the steady infiltration of Marxist ideology, we have been stripped of both, and we are no longer a moral and educated people. To save America, we must spark nothing less than a national renaissance. That's why you need Freedom Talk Magazine, the journal of truth and virtue. We cultivate enlightened thinking and principled living, offering unique insights into the issues and remarkable people defining our world. Sign up today for your free subscription to Freedom Talk Magazine and join the new American Renaissance.
It is July 27th, 2026, and 10 years ago this month, a businessman from Queens, New York, accepted the Republican nomination to become President of the United States. He beat the odds. The fake news media laughed at Donald Trump's candidacy announcement. He became the joke of all talk shows, but the people of America loved him and wanted him to be the 45th president. Let's take a look back 10 years ago.
Friends, delegates, and fellow Americans, I humbly and gratefully accept your nomination for the presidency of the United States. USA, 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 USA.
And what a ride it has been the last decade. We tip our hat to a man who has changed the political landscape. After 10 years, we can't really imagine life without him. Our country is in a safer place because of him. He has restored dignity and patriotism at a time when this country needed it most. So we thank God for President Trump. Happy 10 years, everyone. He truly is the greatest of all time. Now to our Maha Moms segment. Let's talk about vaccines. There's a growing amount of parents not vaccinating their children. New kinds of heavy metals are inside, and the Maha movement is standing up against Big Pharma and also doctors. Here's more from the administration.
Hi, I'm Robert F. Kennedy Jr., your HHS Secretary. Today I'm joined by my friend and colleague, CMS Administrator Dr. Mehmet Oz, to announce an important step to protect the health of the American people. Today, CMS notified every state Medicaid director and urged them to help end the use of mercury-containing dental fillings.
For decades, dentists have filled cavities with a material called dental amalgam, which combines mercury with silver, tin, copper, and other heavy metals. Over time, evidence has shown that mercury exposure from dental amalgam could pose risks to vulnerable populations like pregnant women, their babies, women trying to become pregnant, children under the age of 6, people with neurologic diseases or impaired kidney function. Mercury exposure places these groups and others at elevated risk for a range of health complications. When mercury accumulates in the body, studies suggest that it might contribute to birth defects, autoimmune disorders, behavioral changes, neurologic problems, Alzheimer's, lots of other conditions. And the mercury vapor from dental amalgam also exposes dentists and other dental professionals to health risks during the placement or removal of cavity fillings.
Mercury in dental fillings doesn't just affect patients. It contaminates our environment. Mercury from dental amalgam enters wastewater and spreads through our air and our soil and our waterways. The federal government has already committed to phasing down the use of mercury dental amalgams by 2034 to better protect both public health and our environment. Today's notification calls on the states to help lead that effort and do it quicker. Earlier this year, the Trump administration announced that the Indian Health Services will transition to mercury-free restorative materials across Indian Health Service and tribal dental programs by 2027. Now we're asking every state Medicaid program to do its part by taking 2 simple, practical steps.
First, consider restricting or ending state Medicaid coverage for dental procedures that use mercury-containing dental amalgam. Second, incentivize the use of mercury-free resin-based composite filling materials instead. Studies show that when dental practices go mercury-free, it's better for the patients, the practitioners, and the planet. And it protects your taxpayer dollars.
Taxpayer dollars should support the safest, most modern care available, not outdated materials that contain mercury. We have better alternatives, and it's time that we start using them. Let's protect patients. Let's protect dental professionals. Let's protect the environment. Together, we can make America healthy again.
Produced by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
And it's almost like our kids are being attacked from birth. And when they get into school, it's another battle. Like in Minnesota, it was just announced that trans dolls will be used in classrooms of kids starting at 4 years old. You heard that right. Trans dolls, 4 years old. These dolls have removable body parts. How sick is this? So Minnesota, if you're listening, you have to get out and fight this evil. Protect your kids and what's in their classrooms, or they'll be brainwashed before they can even think for themselves. More to come here on My Mornings. We have the stock market outlook of the day and more from your comments on the president's speech Friday night. But first, let's have a little fun as we go to break. Senator Kennedy takes us behind the scenes of his workout. Enjoy this fun moment, and we'll be right back.
Hey guys, John Kennedy here. I'm in Madisonville, Louisiana. It's 92 degrees. I call this video Me, Margaret, and Bobby McGee. If you like it, I hope you'll tell your friends. If you don't like it, I hope you'll keep it to yourself. Busted flat in Baton Rouge. Hey, there's my jeans. Bobby, thumb the diesel down before it rains. Took us all the way to New Orleans.
Welcome to Vocal, the free speech social app that gives you a platform to amplify your voice. Speak freely, connect boldly, and be part of a growing movement for truth, faith, and freedom. Want to know what's happening right now? The Now Playing feature shows you exactly who's live and what's streaming in real time. Check out the show's feed, a non-stop lineup including LINDELL'TV News 24/7, shows and on-demand programming all in one place. Connect with your favorite host and never miss a show. Explore the featured page for quick access to LINDELL'TV's top shows. Follow your favorites and watch their newest content flow right into your feed. And when they go live on Vocal, you can join the live chat and be part of the action. Ask questions, share your thoughts, even help shape future shows. Stay informed on issues around securing our elections by following your state's Cause of America account. Join a group and connect on a deeper level, from faith and freedom to the future of our nation. Go to vocal.com or download the app today and be a part of the mission to save our country.
It's finally here, our second annual mega sale. This sale only comes around once a year, so take advantage of the best offers ever while you can. For example, save 50% on our Giza Dream bed sheets, as low as $29.98. And for the first time ever on TV, MyPillow mattresses and MyPillow mattress toppers, as low as $99.98. And you save 50% on our Lux Pure 6-piece towel sets. Regular $69.98, now only $39.98. And our best-selling standard MyPillows, regular $49.98, on sale for $17.98. Wait on it, mega sale, only $14.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. But wait, there's more. To make the mega sale even more special, when you order right now, your order's going to ship absolutely free.
Welcome back to My Mornings. A quick look at the opening bell numbers on Wall Street, thanks to MarketWatch.com. Live numbers, the Dow, the S&P 500, and the NASDAQ all up at this hour. In your news to go as you start your day, here's a look ahead to the week. Dr. Anthony Fauci is scheduled to testify before the Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee on Wednesday. The hearing is expected to focus on COVID-19 origins, research, and U.S. funding, and the federal government's pandemic response. Also this week, the services for the late Senator Lindsey Graham. A memorial ceremony will be held at the U.S. Capitol, followed by a funeral service at Washington National Cathedral, where President Trump is expected to deliver a tribute. Then on Wednesday, services continue in Columbia, South Carolina, with a public procession, funeral, then private burial. And here's a look at the president's schedule for today. At 8 o'clock this morning, he held an executive meeting. He will then travel to Michigan. At 1 p.m., he will view a drag race and vehicle demonstration, followed by a tour and gift ceremony. Then right before 3 o'clock, he will deliver remarks. As always, for all of your top headlines, you can visit LINDELLTV.com. Don't forget, you can also download the LINDELLTV app on your phones, your tablets. It is free in your app store. Now to our topic for the day, the president's speech at the White House Correspondents' Dinner on Friday. A lot of you are chiming in about it. Here's what some of you are saying. One viewer said, "I wish he'd made the original speech." Me and you both can't even imagine how good that one was. Another viewer wrote in saying he had fun. He roasted and trolled every single one of them. President Trump is hilarious. He is a real showman. The man is unique. But not everyone was pleased. This viewer asked, was it the fat shaming, the childish insults, or the constant whining that you enjoyed the most? Well, you know, I would just have to say he has been attacked for 10 years. Everywhere he turns. He had one night, and it was his turn to attack back. Join the conversation. I would love for you to. You can follow me on my social media accounts. I'm on X, Vocal, Truth Social, Instagram, and YouTube, also on Facebook. Let us know your thoughts on President Trump's speech from Friday night. And as we always do, we leave you with our Bible verse of the day. We all need prayer. This one's coming from the book of Mark. Jesus said, "For what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and forfeit his soul?" And that'll do it for us here this morning. Thank you so much for joining us today. We will all see you same time, same place tomorrow. Have a great day.
Mike Lindell here. The radical left and the deep state aren't just coming for our freedoms, they're coming after our money too. For years, they've been destroying our economy from the inside out with reckless spending, open borders, woke policies that crush our businesses. And now they've left us with an inflation disaster that's wiping out the savings of our hardworking families. They don't want us to be independent. They want us to be dependent on the government. Well, that's not going to happen on my watch. That's why I partner with American Independence Gold. It's a veteran-owned company that's helping patriotic Americans fight back by protecting our savings with real physical gold and silver. And right now they're giving away up to $15,000 in free silver and a free gold IRA kit. A portion of all the profits go to 9/11 first responders and veterans at the Tunnels to Towers Foundation. The deep state can't touch your gold, so visit MikeLindellGold.com or call 844-714-4653 right now. That's MikeLindellGold.com. Take back control. Well, hello, everyone. Well, I'm turning 65, and let me tell you, Medicare has me confused. All the junk mail and the robocalls and everything else, it honestly feels like they rigged the system just to confuse us. Well, that's why I partnered and working with Chapter. They're independent and they don't work for big insurance. They work for us. In fact, they're the only advisor that compares every single plan nationwide to find what actually fits your needs. If you're on the right plan, they tell you. If you're not, they're going to help you switch. And it's completely free. Just last year, seniors saved about $1,100 by finding a better plan with Chapter. So call Chapter at 234-LINDELL or go to askchapter.org/Lindell. You know, most people think water's just about filtration, but in reality, it's about balance. What gets removed, what gets left behind, and how the water actually behaves once you drink it. Well, many traditional systems focus on one thing, removal. Reverse osmosis, for example, strips water down completely. It may sound ideal, but it removes minerals that our bodies need. The Century Wellness System was designed with a different philosophy. It removes common contaminants like chlorine, fluoride, and PFAS while restoring key minerals like magnesium and improving alkalinity. It also does all this without tanks and without wastewater, and without requiring a complicated installation. It installs in about 15 minutes under your sink, so instead of overcorrecting, it brings your water back into balance. Please visit CenturyH2O.com and use promo code Lindell for 10% off your next purchase.
Talk is cheap when it comes to saving our country. We're not just any cell phone service provider. We're Patriot Mobile. It's not enough to simply talk about values. We live them. Defending life, protecting our First and Second Amendments, and celebrating our military and first responder heroes. We're boots on the ground making a difference. We're America's only Christian conservative wireless provider with nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks and 100% U.S.-based customer service. Join Patriot Mobile today and make an impact every time you use your cell phone.
America's founders warned that without knowledge and virtue, no nation can remain free. Yet through the steady infiltration of Marxist ideology, we have been stripped of both, and we are no longer a moral and educated people. To save America, we must spark nothing less than a national renaissance. That's why you need Freedom Talk Magazine, the journal of truth and virtue. We cultivate enlightened thinking and principled living, offering unique insights into the issues and remarkable people defining our world. Sign up today for your free subscription to Freedom Talk Magazine and join the new American Renaissance.